Welcome back. Bear down. We are doing this every week now. We're tracking the stats, kind of just pointing some things out. Fun for the, I don't know, just fun for the fan in us that wants to see some records broken and to see how this team progresses. Because stats don't mean everything, but in the process of doing that, if things are going really well, it makes you feel really good about things changing and this team turning around and heading in the right direction. And with that, if those of you, maybe some of you went to bed early last night, maybe some of you just didn't see, the Bears moved to a tie for first in the division last night because the Green Bay Packers lost to the Philadelphia Eagles. The alliance with the Eagles is real, and it'll have to end here in a week and a half when we face the Eagles on Black Friday. But for now, the Eagles did their job. They beat the Packers. The Packers really beat themselves. Solid defense. Solid defense. It's going to be interesting to see how the Bears face up against the Packers defense. But the offense is just trash. Jordan Love, one of the worst quarterbacks in the league, in my opinion. I've said that for years. This isn't something new. I'm not jumping a bandwagon by saying that. He's propped up. He's propped up by Matt LaFleur, which is ironic because the entire Packers fan base wants to see Matt LaFleur gone, and they blame Matt LaFleur. They're so upside down, sideways, and backwards, it's not even funny. But the Bears, for now, in a tie with the Lions for top of the division. Things are going to get dicey here in a minute. We'll go over the schedule here at the end of the video. The Lions obviously carry the tiebreaker because they beat the Bears head-to-head earlier in the year, second week of the season. But for now, Bears are tied for the division lead at 6-3. It's a beautiful place to be. So as we like to do in this channel, we jump through different stats, different things to go over. You can read that real quick if you want for PFF's pass blocking efficiency. I always start with the offensive line because they're the unheralded champions. They're not praised enough. I don't know what the right verbiage that I'm looking for is, but the offensive line doesn't get enough credit for what they do. So after week 10, the Bears are fourth in pass blocking efficiency, which is a stark contrast from prior years. Two things have associated with this, and it's something I preach over and over and over again on the channel. It's worth bringing up over and over again because Caleb Williams has significantly improved in his ability to see the pocket, see collapsing things happening, and be able to navigate that. And as Ben Johnson and others have called him, he's Houdini. He finds a way to slip out of sacks at a historic rate, and he's looking generational. He's doing things that are special. So that, and the Bears spent a crap load of money on and a very little draft capital. When you look back on it, Joe Tooney for a 4th rounder, Jonah Jackson for a 6th rounder, and then extended both of those guys. And you look at them. This is this last week, so this is week 10, the game. You can see Jonah Jackson 41 reps or 41 opportunities at pass blocking. Joe Tooney, Drew Dahlman, Theo Benedict, Darnell Wright, 8 from Cole Kmet in assisting. Ozzy Trapio coming in for 1 on a monster set on a 6-slot offensive lineman set. And very few pressures given up. Theo Benedict more than you'd like to see. I explained that in the other one, though. He was, facing some monstrous players, but he did a good job. He only allowed them to hurries. And every time he got beat, he would stick with it still. And he never gives up on a play. So I like what Theo Benedict's doing. I like how he's coming along. But this is the offensive line, their pass blocking efficiency leading. Last week we were 3rd, but our pass blocking efficiency overall has gone up. The Colts had a really good week, so they jumped ahead of us just barely. You see it's 87.6 compared to 87.5. So, you're splitting hairs there, but the Bears looking very good this year. Only 6 sacks given up by that offensive line, 79 total pressures. They're right in line with the top of the league. And with that, I like to go over Caleb. I like to share some things with him. I did that on the other video already. This is identical to that, but I just want to point out that same thing. The pressures turned to sack. 0 pressures turned to sack in this game. 12 defensive pressures allowed. 0 sacks taken. He's now down to 2nd in the league. Yesterday was 3rd. Jordan Love had a terrible game for him and gave up that awful fumble. If you haven't seen it, it's actually hilarious. You should go see it as a Bears fan. I know you don't want to obsess yourself with, you're obsessed with the Bears. That's why you're here. But it's pretty hilarious. And now Caleb is 2nd in the league in pressures turned to sack. And for having the highest time to throw, it's actually phenomenal. So 5 drops in the game, 73.5 adjusted completion percentage, 0 turnover-worthy plays, and 2 big-time throws. All that looks good. You see the green over here. Everything looks good for Caleb in this game. Yeah, it wasn't the smoothest. It wasn't the cleanest. But in the end, He found a way to make it happen. He's got that dog inside of him. He's got ice in his veins. He's freaking phenomenal. So I posted this on Twitter. Oh, shoot, you can't see his head all the way. But anyways, there's the picture on the right from when he came, when, going to the tunnel after the game, pumped up and psyched up. I put him in a Superman costume with ice coming out, breathing the ice, because that's what Superman does. So I just said the Superman nickname is so fitting for Caleb. He's got ice in his veins, and some people are starting to call him Iceman, which is something that, some people are doing on Twitter. Never count Caleb out of a game. Can't see the whole picture there. So if you want to see that, I guess you got to go to Twitter at Adam H. Mason. And yes, you see the blue check mark there. I decided to do that. I'm trying to get more and more involved in the Bears space. I'm trying to make this more of a permanent thing. We're past 2 years now, guys. I've decided I'm going to go for this thing. So share it with your friends, share it with your family. Like, subscribe, comment, do your thing, because I'm making a go at this thing. I never want to become full-time like mainstream media. I want to keep sharing my authentic takes, but I do want to grow the channel, and I do want to grow my presence. I feel like I have a lot of things to share. So I do appreciate you guys. Anyways, so as we do, this is Caleb's stats as we track them through the year. Right now he's on pace for 25. I moved it up top here. 25. You can see here's the little side note. You can look at those if you want to. No Bears quarterback has thrown for over 4,000 yards. No Bears quarterback has thrown for over 30 touchdowns. Current records right now for the Bears are 38 yards and 29. All it takes is one big game for Caleb to get right in that range of throwing for over 30 touchdowns. He's thrown 13 so far. He's on pace for 25. Thrown 21, 36 yards. He's on pace for 40, 35. So he's on pace to break 4,000. Definitely on pace to break the all-time Bears leading. And I do think the Bears will make a concentrated effort. If we're near the end of the year, I think Ben Johnson will make an effort if he hasn't broke 4,000 to try to make it happen in that last game. But I think it's going to happen before then. You're going to see him have a couple big games. He hasn't thrown for 300 yards this year so far in a game. He did that 3 times last year. It's just a matter of time until something clicks here and we just have a monster game. I think that's coming really soon. In fact, that could happen in Minnesota in the Dome. So it's going to come. It's going to happen really, really soon. His adjusted completion percentage on the year, 71.7. That's gone up while the completion percentage went down, which doesn't sound logical, but the reality is that bad drop game is going to bring that completion percentage down. Those aren't the end of the world. It's just something we're tracking. Here's the things on the side. I've reformatted this to look cleaner. Here's 2024 versus 2025. 2024 is obviously a full season, so down here below, this is what 2025 will look like for a full season if we mathed it out for 17 games. That's why I put that right there. So far this year, 116 defensive pressures allowed, 14 sacks, 12.1 pressure turn to sack ratio, time to throw 3.34. And as again, I'm going to reemphasize that as long as this number's low and that number's low, time to throw does not matter. 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 2 seconds, millisecond, doesn't matter as long as this is low because he's keeping opportunities open. 25 scrambles, 113 first downs on the year, 92.2 NFL passer rating. So everything's trending higher. Here's how it would math out for the year. Obviously, these percentages will, that's where he's at now should equate to where he's at if all things stay equal. I think he has an opportunity to make them even better, though. 92.2 on the year if we math it out for 17 games. 213 first downs, which would be 23 more than last year. Scrambles are going to be about equal, which, that's just his play style. Time to throw is higher, which is fine as long as this is way lower. He's less than half of what he was last year on his pressures turn to sack now. It's unbelievable. Look, 68 sacks last year he took. He's on pace for 26. Bears fans couldn't have fathomed that last year. Defensive pressures on pace for 219. Last year he had 241. So things looking significantly better on Caleb's front. Everything I point out here is a lot of things that are being overlooked by mainstream media, overlooked by a lot of fans. So I hope you guys see this and find value in it because you're not hearing that on mainstream, but I promise you these things matter, and they're the biggest things that matter that are showing the emphasis and the improvement on him. All right, I covered up with the bear down pointer. 8 games because it's really 9 games. I forgot. I update this graphic every week. So this is something I just started doing. The stat tracking. This is this point of last year compared to this point of this year. So it says 8 when I move this, but it's 9. I just didn't upgrade. I miss something every time. I'm doing this like super, super late. Actually, early in the morning. This would be 3 o'clock Chicago time. So I'm a psycho, guys. I'm a psycho for stats. Adam the psycho for stats. So here's 2024 compared to this year. Almost identical in attempts. Completion percentage almost identical. Adjusted completion percentage about the same. Yards up. Touchdown to interception ratio is better. Defensive pressures is down. Sacks is way down compared to last year where we were. Pressures turned to sack way down. So I'm telling you, this is the biggest factor of change this year. Time to throw down. Here's the key. If you guys need a key to what all these things mean, big time throw is up. He's more big time throws, which makes sense because the Bears are leading the league or second in the league in chunk plays and big plays, big time plays, both running and passing. Turnover worthy plays is about the same, and his NFL passer rating is significantly up from last year. And I think it's going to get better as we finish the year out, too. All right, we move off of Caleb and we go to our receiving core. And here's what everybody's on pace for. I've changed this up a little bit, too. Give a little blue line to show where they're trending right now, to what they're trending towards. Rome Odunze at 559 for the year so far. So that's what he's done so far. He's on pace for 1,056. So that's what that blue line is above the box. DJ Moore, 403, on pace for 761. Colston Loveland, 289, now on pace for 578. Lamade Zacchaeus, 248, on pace for 468. You got Luther Burden III, 222, on pace for 444, but I'm going to say that's actually going to go way higher. I think his target share is about to skyrocket. He's got the best, and I'll show that in a second here. I'm spoiling it, actually. The best NFL passer rating when targeted. He's got the best connection with Caleb. The most success rate, I should say. DeAndre Swift, 210. He's on pace for 420. And Cole Kmet, 147. He's on pace for 294. So as I referenced, this is through the first 9 games, Chicago Bears receiving core ranked by NFL pass rating. So you can see number 1, Luther Burden III, 136.6 is insanely high. 136.6 when targeted. Number 2 is Colston Loveland, 126.9. I find it interesting that the 2 rookies have the best success rate with Caleb. They're doing very well with him. So I think you'll start to see this target share of these 2 go significantly higher. DeAndre Swift, 106.3 when targeted. DJ Moore, 104.6 when targeted. Rome Odunze, 95.5 when targeted, which is surprising because he by far has the most targets. He's a little bit off this year, but I think Rome will climb this list as well as he continues to improve through the year. Kyle Monangai, 93.4. Cole Kmet, 86.7. No one's going to be shocked that Olamide Zacchaeus, 77.4, which is actually insanely low on the year when targeted. All right, here's your ground and pound. Here's the run game, and I did include Caleb on here again. Here's Caleb. Here's all running quarterback, all rushing attempts, top quarterbacks with the most yards. You can see Caleb's down there at 8th now, 246, 5.1 yards per attempt. All his metrics look really good. You can pause that if you want to and check it out. I'm not going to go deep in that because the point of this is the running backs. You got DeAndre Swift with 544 on the year. He's on pace for 1,088 now. Kyle Monangai, 390 on the year. He's on pace for 737. And Caleb at 246 is on pace for 465. Here's all the Bears rushing stats down here. Missed tackles forced. I find this interesting. Kyle Monangai with 75 attempts has 16 mixed tackles forced, and DeAndre Swift with 113 attempts has 16 missed tackles forced. But Caleb Williams with 48 attempts has forced 10 missed tackles, which is crazy for a quarterback. He's doing very well with the run game this year. He's got to keep finding a good way to mix it into the offense because when he does, it goes really well for the Bears. All right. I haven't been doing any defensive stats, and you guys know that I'm going to start incorporating them in more. One thing I just want to show, this is, kind of off topic. It's not like I'm reporting the other stats, but I posted this on Twitter. I said, Bears fans are witnessing the beginning of Austin Booker's transformation into the next Max Crosby, and they don't even realize it yet. The second half of the season is going to be huge for number 94, Bear Down. Here's his RAS score. I'm not going to focus on that, but this is the last 2 weeks, okay? So as you see this, and I compared it, I put Max Crosby in here too. So this is Austin Booker. This is the last 2 games. So you see it's just a 2-game sample size. Since when he got back from his injury, you can see 6 total pressures by Austin Booker, 1 sack, 3 hits, 2 hurries, 5.4 pressure ratio, and 13.8 pass rush win rate. So it looks really good. Now, Max Crosby's no slub either. But look at Montez Sweat, too. A lot of fans are overlooking Montez Sweat. I think it's actually 2.5 sacks, but PFF doesn't round. They round on their sacks. So 7 total pressures in the last 2 weeks by Montez Sweat. 3 sacks or 2.5 sacks. 6.8 PRP and a 9.6 pass rush win rate. If we could get those 2 together, really looking solid for this team, having this consistency, if Austin Booker and Montez Sweat can do this week in and week out, say get Montez Sweat's win rate a little bit higher and keep the pressures up for these guys, other offenses are going to struggle against the Bears with Montez Sweat and Austin Booker. So I'm really optimistic, and I want to see what the second half of this season brings for these two. I think Austin Booker is going to start transforming, gaining confidence. As when we made the decision to sign JTS, which was I think a solid backup rotational role, and he actually did very well in the last game too. His win rate was really high. There's some out of position things, but he's going to be fine on this team. That gave really the nod to Austin Booker that we're going to put a lot of trust in you and give you an opportunity here to prove yourself. And I think that's huge. And I think he's going to come through for us. I have a lot of blind faith confidence right now. All right, well, take me off of here. And this is the last thing I want to go over. This is the schedule. And so far, loss, loss, win, 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 loss, win, win. Now we're hitting into this stretch here. This is going to be a tough stretch. We're going to have the Vikings, Steelers, Eagles, Packers, Browns, Packers, Niners, Lions. There's no scrubs on this schedule, but also realize every single week you're facing NFL teams. They have an opportunity to really, really solidify themselves as a team here. And it's a good order to do it in, I think, with the Vikings, then the Steelers, then the Eagles, then the Packers, and then the Browns in between. I think this is a really huge opportunity for the Bears. Nothing's real shocking here. This is what I predicted. This was my prediction before, and everything has gone exactly how I predicted. I said it would be win, loss, 3-3 against the division. When they would happen, I said I'm not going to pigeonhole myself down. But then when I got forced into it, I said we'd beat the Vikings, lose to the Lions week 2, and then we would beat the Vikings, sweep the Packers, and lose to the Lions again. That's what if I had to pigeonhole myself, that's what I said would happen. So we're right in line with exactly. You see, this was my prediction video. We lost, won, won, lost, won, and now this needs to be a win because we lost the other time to the Vikings. So we're right in line with what I said. And now some of these, the Niners, we could actually win, and maybe have an opportunity to go 12-5. Either way, right now we're right in line for 11-6 if what I said holds true. But definitely the Bears have got to keep stacking those things and stacking the wins, stacking the momentum, stacking the good vibes, and feeling positive. The comeback win is huge. That comeback win last week was monstrous. Down 10 in the fourth with half a quarter left, and to come back and to win that game is actually a huge thing. So keep stacking those things. I think the Bears have a great opportunity. I'm not going to get ahead of myself and guarantee the playoffs, but they've got a good opportunity here, and it starts this week with the Vikings. Win this one, and we're 7-3. 7-3. That's you asked Bears fans before the season if you'd be happy going 7-3, and every freaking one of them would be elated, obviously. So, anyways, there's the stats for 10 games. Next week, we're getting into Thanksgiving week. This is going to be rough next week. We're going to do our best, guys. Bear with me, and we're going to do our best. That's going to be a rough one, especially with Thanksgiving and then the Black Friday game. We'll do our best, though, but I'm going to start incorporating the defensive stats a little bit more, too. Coverage stats, takeaways, as well as the defensive line. Excuse me, I apologize. But do appreciate you guys tuning in. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. We're going to be to next weekend before you know it. These weeks seem to be flying by. We've been looking forward to the season. Now the season's halfway over. It's insane. But I do appreciate you guys. Every single one of you guys. You guys are great. This has been a lot of fun for me, and I want to keep telling you guys my appreciation for you because you guys are all phenomenal. With that, have a great day. Da Bears. Bear down.